welcome back to the channel. Thank you for tuning in. Today we're going to be looking back on the 74 Nova. And in the last video you saw us clean up the frame rails from the donor car as well as test fit that bumper panel. And today we're going to be working on welding those frame rails to the trunk pan thanks to our special guest, Swenson.
I'm back
for today. But basically we pulled out the trunk pan and have it set up over here with the frame rail mocked up just so we could, it's a little easier to weld down than to try and be underneath this thing and weld them underneath the car. So that's like the best method that we think. But if all goes smoothly, we will have these frame rails fully tacked on and be able to test fit everything back in the car and see how it works with the floor pan. So like Swenson says, nothing to it but to do it. Just to do it. So let's get to work. So it is the next day here and we made some good progress on getting this thing welded in. There's a few little sections where it just needs to come down like a tiny little bit, and so that's what I'm going to be starting with today before I continue with welding, is going through with my hammer and hammer and dolly and body tools basically, and trying to close that gap down just a little bit more. Could have just gotten bent up as we were breaking the old welds free and stuff. So that's what we're going to continue with, getting these sections a little tighter fit. That way when we weld, we have that nice solid contact with both panels, and we can get good penetration all the way through. So I'm going to get you guys set back up on a time lapse. We'll get this secured down and hopefully finish getting this frame rail fully welded in today. Alright guys, so this thing is fully welded on. I got Justin ready to help me maneuver it into the car. Fingers crossed everything goes back in smoothly as it did, and the leftover frame rail fits nicely up against the floor pan. That way we can go ahead and start welding in the trunk pan and get that fully attached to the floor pan. So now I'm going to get you guys set up on a tripod, and Justin and I are going to get this maneuvered back into the car. Alright guys, so we got the trunk pan all fitted up back inside the car, and everything seems to be fitting pretty good. The only issue is when I was trying to jack up the frame rail to get it to kind of touch flush with the floor pan. It was kind of really just pushing up the floor pan with it. So I'm going to pull this trunk pan out one more time. That way I could throw some tack welds down on the actual floor pan itself. That way when I go to try and get those frame rails back up where they should be, it's kind of going up something that's solid. It's not going to move with it. So that's kind of my thought process. So we're going to get these vice grips off the trunk pan, lower this back down, and then get this welding on the floor pan. All right, so change of plans. We're going to actually pull the floor pan and the trunk pan out. That way I can drill all the spot welds on the floor pan, just because I tried to do it underneath the car and there's just not enough space. Plus, it kind of will just be easier to drill straight through. We're just trying to only drill through the floor pan itself and not into the rocker. So I got Justin here to help me, and we're gonna get these pans up. Alrighty guys, we got the floor fully tacked in now, and everything is looking beautiful. It's pretty easy to line this up because you kind of have like indentions in the rockers where these things will match up, and it makes kind of swapping a full pan pretty easy because the placements are already kind of set. But floor looks absolutely great. The tack welds turned out beautiful, guys. I'm pretty proud of myself. I sent over pictures to Alex, and he said everything was looking good as well. So right now we're going to jump onto the front toe board section here, and install these motor mount brackets, because we removed those to replace those toe boards. So we're going to switch over to that, get those tacked in, and then we'll go from there. Alrighty guys, so we got both toe board sections replaced, as well as both motor mounts installed on the car. Now I did go ahead and do the passenger side off camera, just because this was, if you guys remember, the side that we tried to like patch ourselves without like ordering a panel. And I decided just to go ahead and buy the new panel, just because I wanted everything to be nice and new and look basically brand new again. So I just decided to pull the plug and order it. It's only 125 bucks for that panel anyway, so it's relatively cheap and worth the money, so to speak. But both of these lined up perfectly on here, so we're going to test fit the subframe here in a later time. But we got basically everything welded in besides the trunk pan, and let me show you why. So currently we got everything lined up, and fitment wise it's touching the floor pan perfectly. It's just we have like 1.5 inches maybe gap there where it's supposed to touch the floor pan. And it's like that on both sides, but I'm not too sure what to really do about it. Everything else lines up perfectly as far as the wheel wells, and so I don't know that I want to pull everything forward that extra 1.5 inches, because it might offset the stuff in the back, as well as drilling like a hole for like a bolt and not to try and pull it in. I don't like, if that didn't work, I'd have to try and fill that hole. So it's kind of still up in the air what I'm gonna do. Another option could be just like welding in a box to try and like close off that section, which we kind of have to do in the rear as well, because it's a different ear pan. So let me know what you guys think. If there's any other options, I'm open to suggestions and advice. But that's really why the floor pan hasn't gotten, or the trunk pan hasn't gotten welded in yet. Guys, that pretty much does it for today's video. We made a ton of progress on the 74 Nova. We got toe boards welded in, we got motor mounts welded in, we got the floor pan welded in, we got the frame rails welded to the trunk pan, and last thing we need to do is weld that trunk pan into place. But as you guys already know, if you have any advice or tips, please feel free to leave a comment down below, message me on Instagram, whatever may be. But thank you guys so much for watching today's video. If you liked it, please give me that thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Really will help me out, help make this channel bigger and better every day. But as always guys, thank you so much for supporting the channel, and I'll see you in the next one.